Welcome to the Battle of the Seduction. I am your host, Kid Bagheera, and this is a Battle of the Sexes edition. City Boys versus Hot Girls. I got the board. I'm going to tell y'all this crazy story, and I'm going to get a point to who I believe deserves it. I'm going to be fair, so you ain't got to worry about that. We're going to get straight to it. So today, my homegirl AJ sends me these voice notes, right? And she's telling me about her sexcapade, right? And as I'm listening to this shit, I'm just like, what the fuck, right? But it made perfect sense. You know what I mean? And like how we was going back and forth, like shit just made perfect sense. So here we go. So she tells me that she met this dude. I'm gonna assume Tinder. I don't even know where she met him at. But his name is Toolshed. So we're gonna throw that out there. All her dudes have nicknames, so that's his nickname. Cool. So she tells me that they have been talking and getting to know each other and shit. And when she's on her way home from work, they've been he'll call her and like they FaceTime at night. So they got familiarity. So like when they meet up for the first time, it won't be so awkward or whatever, right? Excuse my fur baby. Bless you, Blaze. Okay, so that's that. So when they finally go meet up and all of that good stuff, she tells me that he told her like, oh, it's cool. I'm in a guest house. I'm not even in the main house. You know what I'm saying? Because he has roommates and all this other shit, right? So keep all of that shit in mind. So as she's telling me this shit, I'm thinking like, oh, he on some Fresh Prince shit, right? Like that's dope as fuck. Like you got, a guest house and you're not in the main house. So that means you have like you should have a private entrance to the degree that you don't have to come in through where the main house is at, but possibly, maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking about this shit in my head as she's telling me this shit, right? So she goes there and the setup of it is not what she pictured, nor was it what I pictured, right? So he is in a guest house. He's not in the main house, but obviously he said roommates, right? So she's thinking like, obviously dudes his age or whatever versus like what it actually was. So when she gets there and, they're in the backyard and shit and they're walking to the guest house and she's like, it's like all this trash and all this garbage on the ground. And she's just like, what the fuck is this, right? So then they get to the guest house and it's a fucking tool shed. So that's why his name is Tool Shed, right? So come to find out, it's his grandmother's house and his roommates are his parents. Yo, you gotta stop wilding, my boy. Come on now. Shit. You fucking me up. Move. Come on, man. Thank you. Excuse me. He's on the fucking wire about to drop my whole shit. But anyway, so she says that they finally get in there or whatever, right? And he gives her like a chair that's like broken for her to sit for her to sit down on. And she's just like, what the fuck is this, right? So there's nothing wrong with a tool shed because at my childhood home, my dad has one. And when I go in there to find shit, I'm like, bro, this really could have been a house though. Like we just have to turn it up and do this and do that or whatever. So he ain't did none of that. It's literally the tool shed, and like she said, it was concrete on the floor. There it was drafty in there, so they ain't really did nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just straight up, you just in here and there's no tools in here, right? But it's still dirty because like it's meant for tools. Like a tool shed ain't gonna be clean. You know what I'm saying? Like the one at my childhood home, it's not clean. You go in that bitch, you coming out dirty. Like for real. I go in there with this, if I stay in there too long, or if I move a certain way or brush up against something, this shit gonna be dirty as fuck. Dirty AF. So they go in there, she's sitting on the chair, and then she's like, he's trying to like do all this small talking. No. They're like trying to, I guess, like small talk or some shit, but it's not really going because like her mind is, elsewhere. So he's just like, yo, let's just get to it, right? So she's like, okay, cool. And got to it. So this is like the kicker though. The fact that it was not what she expected, for the ambiance would have had her, or most women like, bro, I'm out of here, right? But she committed to it. She was already there. So it's like, hey, I'm already here. I'm not leaving without getting what I came for, right? So she gave it a 7.58. And she would have gave it a 9 if the ambiance was different, like basically like his own place, or even if it was with roommates, but just like in a bed or a bedroom with like heat or air, whatever the weather dictates, right? Versus it being outside. But when she told me that, I said, well, wait a minute. What about when you was with such and such, such and such, such and such, and it didn't go down? And that's the whole thing. Like, most dudes who have everything that women want are gonna do less because they feel like they ain't got to do all that. Like, I got my car, I got my place, I got the job. Dudes who don't have that shit, dudes that are homeless, that live with their parents or whatever the case may be, oh, they gonna turn up because now they know they ain't got all this shit that women want, so they got to show out somewhere else. So we going back and forth about like, her escapades and shit, and like how it didn't work over here, but now it worked. She said he digged her the fuck down and was all in her stomach. She ain't felt in her stomach in a while. So she like, hey, I'm going back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah. And I was like, if he had told you the truth, you wouldn't even have went. The fact that he lied, you know what I'm saying, or stretched the truth, however you want to call it, got you over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, he got the job done. You know what I mean? And she was like, as they were having sex, she completely forgot about the fact that they was even in a shed. You know what I'm saying? But when they was done and the haze was over with, she was like, hey, I got to go. Like, he was trying to watch Disney Plus and shit. Like, nah. So, like, it's cool, it worked. You know what I'm saying? It's not a whole situation of, the afterwards, you know what I'm saying, the cuddling and watching something and all of that is, hey, we in the shed, bro. This ain't it. So, nah. But the premise of it, like the actual, sex part, hey, that part was A1. So, hey, all in all, a good time, you know what I'm saying? So, for me, I got to get that to the city boys because, hey, if he would have told the truth, it wasn't going down, bro. Like, and she would have missed out. You know what I'm saying? She would have missed out on a good sex trip. Like you said, she gave that shit a 7.58. It don't really get that much better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's up there. You know what I'm saying? So, city boys got it. Hot girls, y'all down one. And if y'all got some crazy sex stories, hey, let me know and I'll tell them. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Hey, calm down. Ain't nothing out there. But anyway, city boys up one. I'm gonna keep the score, and like I said, I'm gonna be fair about it. Y'all got some stories y'all want to be told. Y'all don't want to tell it. Y'all want me to tell it. I'll tell it, and we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep getting to it like that, straight like that. This is the battle of the seduction. This is episode 1, Guesthouse. Stay tuned for episode 2.